Good afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday, October the 3rd, 2023. My name is Michail Boncea. I am an independent blogger from Greater Vancouver Area, British Columbia, Canada. I focus mostly on news and live events. The news and live events from Greater Vancouver, but as well as British Columbia, some Canadian and some international. A bit of who I was and what I did in the past. A few years ago, I was an international sports photographer, such reporter. I covered during that time National Hockey League, NHL, and Vancouver Canucks, Western Hockey League, WHL, and Vancouver Giants, Memorial Cup, Mann Cup, and Canada versus Russia series, hockey-wise. I also was, over 3 years, Delta Islanders Junior A lacrosse team, Newsminster, Arts Council, British Columbia, and for a few events, Canadian Army official photographer. On top of that, many other events. Just a brief description. I came back after a few years. For personal reasons, I took off. And now I'm a blogger. I only started doing this about a couple of months ago, so I'm still trying to learn what you, the viewers, are interested to hear more about or less about. Maybe I'm talking too much about a certain subject and you want to hear more about another subject, or I'm talking too little about a subject and you hear more, or you want to hear about a new subject. Either way, I'm looking for feedback. That's how I can improve and make my podcast that I broadcast Monday to Friday every week, 5 times a week, and sometimes on the weekend, more interesting, so that you will enjoy my podcast much better, and at the same time more people will find different things that they might be interested to hear about that main media just doesn't have the time to cover it. But because I'm an independent and I focus on independent news and live events, I will be able to cover it. Now, saying this, some of the things that I'll be covering, you will find it in main media, but most of the stuff you will not find it in main media. It's just simple math. They can only have so much time they can cover, and they will cover the main events. So if you happen to run a live event like a sports card, so any kind of collectibles, a parade, an ethnic festival, a music festival, car show, you name it, contact me and I'll add a brief description about it on one of my upcoming broadcasts. Same, if you happen to have a company that is active in Greater Vancouver Area, please contact me. So your company could be a food store, a factory, an ethnic store, a collectible store, a music store. It doesn't matter. Contact me and I'll mention you. In both cases, I won't charge anything. I'm just looking to add more content and to make it even more unique, like podcasts. I will not, though, talk about it if it's controversial. But I only see less than 1% that could be controversial. So, and since I'm not covering or charging anything, you have nothing to lose. You get access to viewers that otherwise will not have happened, and it costs you nothing. Moving on. Today I'll be focusing on these topics, but they're not the only ones. I'm just going to mention some of them and then I'll go into further details afterwards. For Canadian news, Parti Québécois news. For local news, St. Alban Anglican Church in Richmond, British Columbia. Canadian news about the Manitoba election. For international/Canadian news regarding India and Canada. Local news, First Nations, Greater Vancouver, British Columbia. Canadian news, new Speaker of the House, Canadian House, has been elected today. Local news, for Langley, British Columbia, Cranberry Festival. Local news, gas prices tomorrow in Greater Vancouver Area. Another local news, Pattullo Bridge project this week. Provincial news, BC4 Parliament Legislative starting. And local news, CSL Sports Ltd. Okay, so let's start the news. And again, if you like my content, please click like or like and subscribe at YouTube. I'll greatly appreciate that. And it will cost you nothing. Lucid Air Sapphire with the car with 1,234 horsepower, it's a monster, has gone in production finally at Casa Grande in Arizona, and they stated that it's about to hit the streets of the USA, with first customer service deliveries coming in the next few weeks. Canadian news, Parti Québécois won a major upset by winning the by-election in Quebec, and they made history because that was the first time they won that riding for Parti Québécois. The person elected, it is Pascal Paradis, and he becomes the 4th Québécois MNA. In the local news, St. Albans Anglican Church on Albans Road near Granville Avenue, Richmond, British Columbia, hosted an animal blessing, and then 6 people brought their animals to be blessed. It took place this past Sunday. Animals have become almost like more than pets for many people, their family members. Interesting idea. I don't think I've heard blessing the animals before, but it's an interesting idea. On Canadian news, today is the provincial election in Manitoba, Canada. Please go out and vote if you haven't voted. I can't say the poll numbers that came out the last. The reason is it's election day. But it does look like one party should win if the polls hold majority. International news, in China, in the third quarter, BYD sold 824,001 cars. Just the cars. Out of that, 431,603 cars were electric. Tesla sold 435,053 cars, all electric, obviously. So the gap between Tesla leading in the Chinese market sales-wise compared to BYD has now come down to less than 4,000 cars a quarter. Canadian and international news. Financial Times has reported that India has told our Canadian government that we must repatriate 41 diplomats by October the 10th this year. Other local news, largest development for the First Nations in Canadian history will be done by the Squamish Nation on Squamish land at the foot of Burrard Street Bridge leading into Vancouver downtown core. It will include 6,000 rental units and is being funded by $1.5 billion in federal loans. On federal news, today a new Speaker of the House was elected. There were 7 candidates that tried to be nominated as the new Speaker of the House of Canadian Parliament. 7 MPs. 4 were Liberal, 1 was Conservative, 1 was NDP, and 1 was Green Party. The MP that was elected, it was Greg Ferguson. He's the new Speaker of the House. He's a Liberal MP. He represents a riding in Quebec, Canada of Hull-Ralme, which is near Ottawa, and he's the first black Speaker of the House of Commons in Canadian history. On international news, U.S. House has been thrown into turmoil by Republican Representative Matt Gaetz, who filed a motion to oust the current U.S. Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, who is also a Republican. It's a historic motion. It has not happened in over 100 years that a lawmaker forced a vote to remove a U.S. House Speaker. On local news, Fort Langley, British Columbia, Cranberry Festival returns for the 28th annual to the community. Over 30,000 people are usually attending every year. It will take place on October the 7th, 2023. The time will be between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and location will be Fort Langley Village. On provincial news, or it could be regional, that is local. The Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure, Moti, has announced the completion of a major road upgrade in Project Delta, British Columbia. The upgrade is between Highway 91 and 17. It is part of Delta Port expansion upgrade project. It cost just over 81.6 million. The entire project, though, once complete, it will cost about 260 million. Local news, and this is great news for anybody who's driving. Gas prices in Vancouver are expected to drop by 21 cents in Metro Vancouver tomorrow. That is Wednesday. Reason is because the state of California has stated that all imported gasoline into the state to be made available for sale. Heads up, another local news. This is the Pattullo Bridge project. This week, It will cause traffic pattern changes due to underground drainage work. Portola Bridge is between Surrey, British Columbia and Newsminster, British Columbia. And these are the following changes. For vehicles traveling eastbound or westbound on Royal Avenue, 1 lane in each direction. It will be maintained. There is no access to Dufferin Street from Royal Avenue. Drivers wishing to access Dufferin Street will need to use First or Coburg Street. So expect major delays. If you can happen to use another bridge, it's probably recommended. On provincial news, with the fall British Columbia legislative starting soon, we will have now 4 official political parties in the parliament and the legislative, with BC Conservatives now becoming official party, having 4 members after the British Columbia United MLA Bruce Bannon crossed the floor last month to join John Rustad, the leader of the BC Conservative Party. On local news, if you can help out, this is Tri-City area, but if you can help out from other local areas, I'm sure they'll accept it. There's going to be a fundraising event for girls playing hockey between age 6 and 18 in Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows. It's going to be for a fundraising event. Tickets to the gala will go on sale on Saturday, October the 14th. And they're looking for prize donations. So if you can help out in any way, contact them, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy. CSL, last news of the day, and also local news. CSL Sports Ltd has acquired Retail Bicicleta. All Bicicleta employees have been retained, as well as the former owners have been kept during the transition. Again, if you like my videos, my podcast videos, please click the like button on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. And on YouTube, please subscribe and click the like button. It is free. It shows me that I should continue on with my work. I see a lot of people are watching the videos, but very few are subscribing, and I really appreciate if you subscribe and click the like button. Have a wonderful Tuesday evening, and see you all tomorrow.